about that. And the reason why we're doing this is we want to know what your thoughts are. Without further ado, let me go over to Bruno. Bruno, can you tell the people who you are and what you do?
Yeah, man. Hey, guys. Good morning. I'm down here in Southern California. I'm a real estate agent, real estate educator, member of a nonprofit called the Veteran Homeowners Club, where we, spend majority of our time giving back to the community, getting out in front of people, serving, and then also helping educate veterans on their benefits. And we've just transitioned into a space where we're trying to teach everybody about real estate, how to invest in real estate, how to elevate themselves through real estate and through entrepreneurship. And just excited to be here, man. Let's get to it.
Outstanding. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, Simone, how you doing this morning? Good morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. Okay, so you said yours is way more. Can I ask you some personal questions if you don't mind?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, how long have you had your what is your degree in?
Biology.
A biology major. So okay,
Yep.
and how long did it take for you to get that degree?
It took me so about 5 years, 5.5 years.
5 years to get a biology degree. Okay, and then how
Yep.
much how much is your student loan debt?
Whew, over 60K.
$60,000. Okay, and this is an
Yep.
undergrad in biology, right? So I'm assuming that it took you 5 years to get the. Now, how long have you had the? And I'm only reason why I'm asking you these questions is because you know we want to know like you're our first case study. You don't mind being a case study, do you?
No, I don't mind
All right.
because
Okay.
it blows my mind.
Okay. $60,000 of student loan debt. Okay. It took you
Yeah.
5 years to graduate. You have an undergraduate in biology.
Yeah.
What are you doing right now?
So I'm a dual career agent, a real estate agent in Atlanta, and I also still work in corporate as a business tech consultant.
Okay, so your biology degree is, and you have a business tech consulting job. Now,
Hmm.
that job sounds like it's pretty lucrative. Now, do you
It is.
from that job, okay, of having that college degree, what is your annual salary from getting that? What if you don't mind sharing? Can you give me a roundabout how much your revenue you're making today?
Yeah, I don't mind. About 125.
Okay, 125,000. Okay, so let's do these numbers. 60K student loan debt. Okay, and I'm typing this in the chat. Okay, you're making 120,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's really break this down. When did you graduate? What year did you graduate from school?
So I was able to walk in 2011, but I would say 2013 I graduated.
So 2013, and you still have the $60,000 and stuff. So 2013. So you've had the student loans for 10 years.
Yeah.
Now, did it start at 60K, or is that where it's at now?
That's where it's at now. I've had periods of times where like I wasn't paying on it. So I am paying the minimum right now. I'm just not worried about them at all.
And what was the initial student loan? Do you remember?
I couldn't even tell you, but I do know that there's so much interest on the loan. It's a lot.
That
But I don't remember what that what that number
that's
was.
exactly you are the perfect. The reason why I'm asking you these questions is because now, Ian, are you there? I'm glad you shared that with me because I'm gonna break this all the way down. Okay.
Yep, right here.
Now let's break this out. Let's really do this. Let's break this all the way down because this is going to set the stage for this. And for those of you who I want everybody to come on stage because I want you guys to engage in this conversation. We're doing this real time. And then if you got and the reason why I'm inviting all of you guys on stage is because I want you guys to be able to unmute and communicate in regard to this as you see fit. Now, what tax bracket is she at 120,000 dollars? What tax bracket is that, Ian? Do you know?
Should be 32.
Yep.
I don't even know.
Yep. 32%, right? Okay, so let's do this real quick. Put a one in the chat if you guys want to really see what the take home is for this. Let's put a one in the chat, and we're going to break this down. Put a one in the chat. I'm thinking approximately $85,000. It's $80,000 to $85,000 if I'm correct. Somewhere around there is what her take home is going to be. So let's do this real
Yeah,
quick.
for my corporate job. Yeah.
Yep. So when you're looking at this, okay, so you go to school. The average student loan debt. Do you guys have the numbers for me, Ian and Sierra? Let's break this all the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got them. What do you want? You want by state?
Yes. Okay. So what? Just give me the numbers, and then we're gonna go. We're gonna go back to this situation. We're gonna talk about the $120,000. Okay. Are student loans a scam? No, we're not changing the title. Is college a scam, Jack? That's what we're doing. Dr. Carissa, you can open up your own room, coming in here, bossing people around. Okay, all of the education you got over here. We country folk over here. Is college a scam, Jack? We want to know. Okay, so here's
It is.
what we're gonna do. Okay, so can you give me those numbers, Ian and Sierra, please?
All right. So for 2021 to 22 school year, the average for in-state students was $10,740 and $27,560 for out-of-state students. And for everybody's information, that does not include room and board
So $10,000 a year, right?
for
And 12,000,
in-state.
10 and 12, right? Are those
No, 10 and 27.
$10,000 in state, 27 out of state, and that's per year.
Correct.
On top
Before
of,
or room and board.
and that's not with room and board.
Correct.
Okay, put that in the chat right now. Now I'm going somewhere with this, guys. Okay, and then we're really going to analyze this and do a case study. Feel free to jump in, guys. Dr. Carissa, Josephina, Catherine, Mr. Smith, Simone, thank you for coming up. Sierra, guys, listen to me. What we're going to break down today is we're going to talk to you guys about. Listen, this is what we're going to cover. We're going to really do a deep dive into the numbers today in regard to student loan debt. And then we're also going to do alternatives to student loans. Okay. All right. We're not saying that don't go to college. That's not what this is about. But what we are talking about is where people are telling people to go to school and you're going to live this luxury lifestyle and make all of this money. That is not true. It's not happening right now. Okay. And the young lady that came up and volunteered this is a perfect example of that. So right now, what I like for you guys to do is I have 4 moderators on stage. I really would like for them to pin our YouTube channel at the top so you can see our face. And then we're going to start talking about these things so you guys can kind of get an idea of what's going on in America and how you guys, how America is getting you guys in regard to student loans. Okay. Now, Ian, can you tell the people who you are and what you do? And then we're going to go to Sierra next.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody. Okay, my name is Ian Jensen. I am a full-time real estate agent down here in SoCal. Work with Anthony, Sierra, and Bruno here at our brokerage, EXP Liberty of California. And also volunteer and, you know what I mean, got a hand in the whole thing, right? So we operate 7 businesses out of this one umbrella, and we all kind of do our best to make sure that this whole train keeps it rolling, right? So we have some great people on stage that have a lot of great experience and a lot of individual opinions. So I want to thank everybody for coming in here and giving themselves a chance to learn. My background that I can provide for, I got a small amount of experience here in multi-unit investing, and I have a couple little things on the side that I'm building up here. So I want to offer whatever I have to everybody that's here, and I thank y'all for coming in. Back to you, Tony.
Outstanding. And Sierra, can you tell the people who you are and what you do, please?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sierra Taylor. I am a real estate professional and I work alongside these great guys that are moderating with us. I'm also a real estate advisor, a board member for multiple nonprofits, as well as a proud soror of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
God, man.
But I'm also an accountant by trade during the day. This is a good topic because I do have a little insight being a college educated woman on this whole shebang versus being an entrepreneur. So I look forward to kind of conversing and getting into the nitty gritty details of this.
Now, I see some people that's on Twitter Spaces, guys. If you hear people talking through Twitter Spaces, we're going to talk about this now. Simone, all right. So what? Let's do this right now. We're going to talk about this, and then we're going to go into. Let's just look at these numbers right now. So right now, I want everybody to do me a favor. I want you to take 120,000, and then you're going to minus 38. 30. Is it 32 or 38%? Ian.
It was 32%, and that brings us down to $81,000.
Okay. So right now, okay, $81,000 was $60,000 student loan debt. Okay. What is your monthly payment on those on the student loans? Do you mind me asking? What is the required monthly payment, Simone, on the student loans?
$550.
Okay, so $550. So right now, $550. Do you know the rate, the interest rate? It's usually around 8%. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna do a case study. Now at 8%, let's do this. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do next. Okay. So we're gonna put a link in the chat. We're going to use the compound interest calculator and put this in the chat, and we're going to walk through this right now. And Dan, I see Ian, I see you on Twitter Spaces. So if you can put that, put the SITREP YouTube channel at the top, guys. If you want to say hi to me, click the link above my head, say hello. You can actually see me in my home studio with no carpet right now. I got to get some carpet in here. That's probably why you're hearing that echo. Okay, I am in my office right now and I'm setting up my space. So if you click the link above my head, show us some love. We are 532 hours away from getting monetizing on YouTube. I would really appreciate if you guys would click that link and subscribe. Now, but we're going to talk about this thing, and then we're going to get into some options, and then we're going to open up the floor for people to give their opinions. Because I already know Dr. Carissa got some bull jive to talk about, along with Josephina and Catherine. Okay, so I'm going to let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. So 81,000 is your take home income. Your monthly payment is $550 a month on this loan. Okay, at 8%, so 550. I'm gonna do this math. 550 times 12. Your monthly payment is $6,660.
For the year.
Okay, a year. So now, okay, it's going to take you approximately 20 years to pay that debt off. Did you know that, Simone?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That's why I said I'm not even, I just pay the monthly payment and keep making more money and it's not even a concern.
Now, let's see how much interest she's paying per month. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys want me to show you the secret formula of how much interest she's paying. Because once you understand these numbers, then you're going to be like, holy crap, dude. Like, I got to understand and break down. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys want me to walk through these numbers. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to know how much interest she's paying per month on these numbers. I am going to show you how to do it. Okay, real time. Now, before we get started, let's go over to Catherine. Catherine, good morning. How you doing, Catherine?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you? Hello, everyone.
Oh man, I need her to be running the mic, man. She sounds like she's, I like where you checking in from?
From Washington, D.C.
Oh man,
but
she's gonna say something cool like you was
I'm not that
tea and eating, tea and.
I am drinking tea, no crumpets, but I've lived in the U.S. Anthony, I've said this so many times. I've lived here for 15 years.
Okay, well, I wish I could talk like that, but see, I'm from Georgia, so I can't, be as cool as you.
It's okay. I'll tell you a quick funny story about the one time I went to Georgia, right? Quick, I'll be real quick. And first time I went to Georgia, didn't understand what people were saying. And one thing everyone kept saying was Prisha nature. Everywhere we went, everyone kept saying, Prisha nature, Prisha nature. And I was like, Americans are so weird. What is that word? And so finally I asked my cousin, I was like, why does everybody keep saying Prisha nature? He said, what? No, they're saying appreciate ya. I said, oh. Funny Georgia stories. There you go. What's your question?
That's funny. Okay, so we just wanted to know if you winning today. That's it. Thank you for joining.
Oh, you're most welcome. I went to a country that education was free, so I don't have a student loan debt. But my daughter goes to school in New York. She doesn't have a student loan debt either because her school's like 6,000 a year, and I pay for it.
Now here's and this is another thing. Okay, so now Ian so we're gonna break down. We're gonna go step by step so you guys understand how much it's gonna cost her to pay off this student loan. Okay, so Ian put a calculator in the chat, and I got a special announcement to make, man. My brother Jose Lopez just joined our team. Can we all, on the count of three, on our unmute our mic and say congratulations to Jose Lopez? On the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard, homie.
Welcome aboard, homie.
Let's go. Let's go.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be part of the team.
So here's a couple of things. Okay, so another thing that Jose and I served at MCRD San Diego, where we train Marines together. And if you notice that we like to work with people that we know. Okay, so Jose, I've been knowing him for almost 15 years now. Okay, 15 years, U.S. Marine, and he just dropped his retirement papers. So he will be getting out, and then he will be helping build with us. So welcome, Jose, and it's an honor to have you here with us today.
Thank you again, sir.
Okay, so now, any crazy stories that you want to share with the people about, any funny stories about the depot that you want to share before we get started?
Maybe not at this time, but
Okay.
at another time we could definitely take a part of that one, sir.
Indeed. Okay, so here's another thing. Okay, so I see the Bear and I see Big Zerb on Twitter Spaces. Ian is going to invite you guys to speak. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. We're gonna talk about this now. Click the link in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys see the link, the investor.gov calculator. We're gonna break this down. Okay, shotgun style. And I see my brother Dan Roback that's on here. We're gonna give him an introduction. And Jen, thank you for pulling up to the stage. It's an honor to have you. We're gonna invite you guys to speak to see if you have any questions about what we're talking about today. But we're gonna if you guys can, Ian, can you tweet the compound interest calculator? And guys, follow along. For those of you that are here, we're going to make sure that you guys get this. And I see you guys on Twitter Spaces. Lady Red, thank you for joining us. Okay, here's the deal. Click the link right now, and I want you guys to follow along with this math, okay? And then I'm gonna back in to show you how much interest that she's paying for $60,000 of student loan debt. Once you understand this part right here, you will not think about financing things the same way. Okay. So who wants to be my volunteer on stage? Let's do it with you, Simone. Simone, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm going to utilize you. You can go ahead and unmute your mic, and I want you to follow these simple instructions with me. You ready?
Yeah, I already got it up.
Okay, so what does it say? What's the first field?
The initial investment.
The initial investment is going to be $60,000. So put 60 grand in there. And for those of you that are on Twitter Spaces and that are on here, thank you for pulling up. We're going through the student loan debt scenario, and then we're going to show you how interest is calculated. I'm going to give you a formula that anybody can follow. So guys, if you're on Twitter Spaces, retweet the space. Okay. And then put a 1 in the chat, guys, if you guys are following along. The compound interest calculator is, we already put it in, Ian put it in the nest, and it's also in the chat feature on Clubhouse right now. Okay. So now, your initial investment is 60 grand. What's the next field?
The next one is my monthly contribution.
Your monthly contribution is going to be 0. So that means that you're not contributing any money to you put your student loans in deferment, because you said that you were in deferment for a minute, right? Okay.
Yeah, but it's not an interest only, so
that's one.
I don't know what to put here.
It is a fluctuating amortization schedule, correct? So the interest rate can go up or down. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now this is how they get you, and this is what college people aren't telling you when you go down and you sign up for the student loan. So let's just do 8% for this example. Okay, what's up, Anthony? Thank you for joining us. Okay, now what's the next field? So you put 0 there, right? You still with me?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next field?
Length of time in years.
Let's go 20 years. You had the student loan for 20 years and you decide that you put it in deferment for 20 years and you don't pay on it. What's the next field?
Estimated interest rate.
8. Put 8 in there. The average student loan
Yeah.
debt is at 8%. We're going to utilize 8 for this example because that's the average student loan percentage. And this is just an example, guys. What's the next field?
We have the interest rate variance range, but
We're going to keep that at 8.
okay. So the next one is the compound frequency, and I have annually here.
Put annually and then put calculate. What do you have?
Calculate. Let's see.
How much is it going to cost you if you put that student loan in deferment?
Whew. Okay, so in 20 years, you will have $279,657.
So listen to this, guys. If she kept that student loan with having that in deferment, one thing that they don't tell you about student loans is that when you put it in deferment, you know what continues to calculate?
Interest.
The interest. So that $60,000 student loan debt will be $200,000 by the time she pays it off. Now, any questions about that? Now, I'm not trying to scare you, Simone, but I'm just showing you.
Oh, no, you ain't scaring me.
I'm trying to show you guys because this is the stuff they're not talking about, okay? This is what they're not talking about, guys, okay? Now, I'm going to back into a scenario. I'm going to open up the stage for any questions about what I just showed her. Anybody have any questions or comments about what I just showed her? Dr. Carissa, I know you want to say something. Go ahead.
No, I agree. And I think that, what you're saying should be shared more and shared earlier, much earlier. And I'm with Simone. I wish someone had sat my mom and I down when I was about, I don't know, 12 and let me know where I was going, but you knew our butt was coming. But my only issue is that, when we start just the Tony, that's all about the numbers are the numbers and the calculations, and you and Ian with your calculators, it's almost like we're talking about a college education is like a pair of shoes that we financed, and we have to just consider the value of education a little bit more, I think, in the conversation. And I know, and let me tell you why. Because like you do 10x vets spouses, and one of the big things is your like discussions about education opportunities for spouses.
Mm-hmm.
And and you talk about the purpose of college in a lot, and you said earlier that you're not saying don't go to college. So I think that it just has to come out of the calculator a little bit more, Tony.
Okay. All right.
And we ain't there yet. I'm listening though. But you called my name, so I just
I already know you was going to talk, Felicia. Okay. Welcome to the stage, Jack, because I see that DR. You make sure that DR and that period was behind that name.
Well, but listen, you don't know how much anxiety I have around that title, but you won't change it. But it's okay, because I think it should be student loans. But it's okay. I'm cooperating. I'm learning a lot, and this is very good information.
Indeed. Now, I do have a question for you. How much student loans did you have to take advantage of in order?
You've asked me that about 40 times, and I won't answer that question.
Come on, Jack. Come on. Why you won't answer?
I will never answer that question.
Man, see, man. Somebody
Does
said.
it start with a 2?
Yeah.
Let's do those numbers.
Yep. I know beyond a reasonable doubt to get listen, Dr. Carissa had to go to school for 20 years in order to get that doctor's, that DR. 20 years. Am I right?
Yes, it took me 20 years.
Okay. The reason why I'm telling you guys this is that when you get that.
No, you gotta finish. And what is its significance? What did I do with it?
You got doctor in front of your name.
So that's what I did for 20 years, just put those 2 letters in front of my name. That's why I did that.
You've made an immense impact on educating America's students.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Go ahead.
you.
Jump in, Sierra. Get her, Sierra.
Actually,
She's on my side.
I'm about to send Sierra to the goo, man.
Don't send me to the goo, but it's one of those things where
it's and I'm not preaching for just all school and all, but it does teach you those soft skills. And then in her, argument, it kind of positions you. She's a philosopher. That's what a doctor is. Someone with a PhD is a philosopher. So all of these numbers and all of these policies and all of that stuff that we use and we go off of and we use to our advantage, there's somebody that wrote that. Somebody that wrote that in their dissertation, their books. Um, they sacrificed that time to learn, to actually deep dive into that specific subject. So, like you said, there is some value
Sierra,
that
you
we
better
don't
preach. You better
do
preach,
not
girl.
Nah, yeah,
see.
yeah. I don't. What now? The mic is open, guys. What do you guys think? Okay, is college a scam?
Yeah,
Yes
can
or
I
no? Albert, jump in.
can I can I say something? And this is my point of view. Okay, just so y'all know, I don't think there's gonna be with everything that we can go back and forth with this, right? Because there's really not gonna be a definitive answer to like what's the right answer. It's what really resonates with the individual person that's gonna be listening to this the most. Maybe some people resonate more with Dr. Clarissa and Sierra, which that's totally fine. Or maybe people it's going to resonate more with what I'm going to say. There's not going to be a definitive answer. The way that I feel, because I started college. Can I finish college? Actually, it will be in my best interest for me to finish my college degree right now because it's completely paid for. I'm actually going to be getting paid in order for me to go to college, but I have absolutely no value into adding a college degree, a bachelor's degree to what I'm doing right now. And let me explain to you this. I think that what's happening right now in our society, in the macro aspect, is that a lot of people are realizing that, damn, I've been fooled my entire life. Because your entire life, me as a Hispanic male, you got preached by your family. You to be successful, you need to get good grades, you need to go to college, you need to get a good paying job, and you need to simply like work your 9 to 5 or do whatever it is. And a lot of people nowadays are realizing that that is the real scam. Because if you think about what we're talking about is college, it's a business. It's one of the most profitable businesses out there. And that's why a lot of people are realizing, because for so many years college was associated to the word success. And a lot of people are realizing, man, like in order for me to be successful, yes, I need to get educated, but I don't need to go to college for me to get educated or for me to be successful or for me to be good at certain things. And big institutions right now, that's the big fight that they're getting. Because let's look at the biggest billionaires right now in our society. They're college dropouts. You know what I'm saying? Like, and let's put Elon Musk for example, right? Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, and all these big names, they're saying, listen, I don't care if you come to work with me, if you're a college degree, as long as you're really, really good at what you actually do. Let's take it even a step. There's big millionaires out there that says like, I don't have a college degree, but the people that work for me do.
Oh,
So
wake it up.
like,
Hey,
like,
wake it up, Albert. Hey, Albert,
like,
cooking. Put a fire emoji in if Albert is cooking right now in the chat right now. Put a fire emoji if
Albert,
Albert is
so
Albert is
again,
cooking.
Albert is not cooking.
Yes, he is cooking. He is cooking right now.
But that's the thing,
guys,
and I think you're
but like
spot
I said,
on.
Well,
Hold, hold on.
I'm
Let him
go
finish
ahead,
now. Let
finish.
him
Let
finish.
him land. Let him land.
Let him
Okay.
land it. Let him
yeah,
land that sick that
so like I
D650.
so like so like I said, Dr. Clarissa, I have a lot of respect for you. Like I have a lot of respect because 20 years of dedication towards something means a lot, But and again, there's gonna be people that are gonna that's gonna resonate with a lot. There's not like what you say or what I say is not right or wrong. It's just your story is what's gonna really impact you. Because again, and to finish, how many times have we been in a job that we look at the individual person that has a title and you be like, damn, you're a freaking dumbass. Like I can't believe that you run this place. Like that, and that's exactly what I mean. Like in order for a title, which that's what essentially what your education or your bachelor's degree, doctor's degree gives you, it's not equal to success. And I'll land at that.
Yeah, that's a good place
But
to
you still
land.
need an
No,
education to run something successful, because
yeah,
True.
and I have to
Very
respond to
true.
that. I have to respond. I was trying to let Tony finish, but I want to say that, it really does come down to mission and what how you want to add value. Like you said, Albert, you didn't go to college, so you don't know the transformation process that you go through when you have that kind of cognitive development and go into a social ecology that changes you as a person. How you choose to do that is your business, but what you want to put in the world, it may just be about money. It may just be the metric. Your only metric may be how much money can I earn, and then how much more can I earn. And if that is your only mission as a person, then this is exactly the rhetoric that we need.
Let me.
But if you have, I'm not, you gotta let me land.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And so, but if you have other if you have a different vision or a more comprehensive vision, then it requires a different process. And I'm gonna land with this. Now it's 77 million, I think. No, wait, what am I saying? 77,000, I think, last year to go to Harvard for 1 year. And I know men who have gadgets, who are into electronics, games, cars, whatever, who will blow that in just the afternoon of just having fun with their hobbies. So if you really want to talk about how people invest their money, there's nothing wrong with getting a Harvard degree instead of dumping it into some electronics.
Oh my God. No, wait. Let me get into this. Dan, I saw you come off mute. Okay, so Albert, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you up. Okay, now I wanna let me do a quick reset. Okay, welcome to the Win in Real Estate. Today we're talking about, is college a scam? I want to give a special shout out to all of my guests that are on stage. Shout out to my friends that are on Twitter Spaces: Dan Robach, Ian Jensen, The Bear, and Jen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We will be doing simulcasting. So if you hear people that are coming through my voice, that means that, retweet this to your hallway. And if you guys are enjoying this conversation, put a down on Twitter Spaces. I'd like for you guys to put a one in retweet one or re-X or whatever it is. We don't even know if it's tweet or Twitter or whatever it is. And then I see my friends and family on Facebook group, and Anthony Progress. Shout out to him. He's an amazing influencer on social media. So thank you guys for joining us. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter Spaces, Clubhouse, and Christian Mingles. Hey, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to pray to the Lord to get hooked up, Jesus. But make sure you get an entrepreneur, not a college educated person, because that person's going to make more money anyways. But anyways, let me go over to let me go to Iron. Iron, you had something to say. Welcome to the stage, brother. What's your thought process, Iron G? Because I'm going to negate what Dr. Carissa said, and we're going to talk about. We're not only going to tell you guys some things to avoid student loan debt. We're going to give you the tools and tips. But here's what I'm going to ask you guys to do. Okay, number one, we just gave you guys a tool to calculate compound interest. So you guys have that. We don't just debate about it. We give you the tools to avoid it. And then also, we're going to give you 5 essential tools. Everybody put the number 5 in the chat. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to avoid student loan debt. Okay, we're going to give you those 5 tools. But in order for us to do that, what I'm going to need for you guys to do is please, 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 if you guys can, if you're here right now, the 30 people that are here, click the link above my head. And then also just put give me a hot hello, Anthony, there, and wave at me, because this is going to help the 29 people in here for an hour and a half. That means that I get, what's that? An hour and a half for times 29. What is that? How many watch hours is that? Ian? I use Ian because
Because it's a numbers room.
45. That's 45 watch hours for me. So I would really appreciate that if you guys do that. Now, Iron, what do you think, man? I see you banging in the chat. What do you think, Iron?
Yeah, so I would say that college itself is not a scam. Now, could the student loan process be a scam? Could be. And I'll tell you why. College itself is where you will expand your horizons. You'll meet different people, learn different things, and all that kind of stuff, which is good for a well-rounded person, right? Myself, I majored in history for my undergrad, right? I went into the Army. Now, let me back up. I had a vision of where I wanted to
Oh
be in
man,
my
kick
life.
this guy to the goo, man. He said army, man. Put him in the
Yeah, go Army. So
Whack, rack, rack,
We
so
need
I
him
had
here. We need Iron
I
here.
had a vision for my life, right? And so in my life, what I wanted to be was a teacher. I wanted to teach high school civics and history and stuff like that, right?
hmm
So I went to college to get a degree in history. While I was there, I joined the Army ROTC, who paid for my college. And then when I got into the Army, just like any other military branch, they tell you what you're gonna do, not necessarily what you want to do.
hmm
So eventually, I got put into a spot where I was the information management officer for my unit. And from there, I said, well, I love doing this IT stuff. So I went through and I got my master's in network and communication management. I got a master's in business administration,
hmm
and then I got a doctorate in business administration. And the Army paid for probably 80% of that, right? So that's why I say that the actual going to college itself is not a scam, but maybe the way you pay for it could be a scam because it's a lot of free money out there that people don't take advantage of that they could use to pay for their college.
A
Um,
lot of people
and
don't know about those resources, though. That's the
and,
only
and
thing,
and that's very
Iron.
true. That's very true. And I can tell you, my son just graduated high school last year. He decided that he wanted to do HVAC, right? So I said, okay. Now he goes to a community college, 2 year degree. It's completely paid for because I'm 100% disabled veteran. So in the state of Virginia, he pays no tuition and he gets a stipend every month, almost like $1,400 a month,
Dan, you have a hot
just for
mic.
him.
Oh, which one?
So
Crap.
so for him,
Dan.
it's an easy choice to go to school because all he gotta do is go to school, get his education while he there and stuff like that, and he gotta pay a dime, right?
But see, here's
And he could
the
actually
difference.
go.
And I'm glad that you said that, brother, because I did the same thing. I joined the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps paid for my degrees. I have a undergraduate degree in real estate management, and I have a operations management degree, and I have a grad degree, MA, a Master of Accounting, and a MBA. Right. So, and I didn't pay a penny for those degrees. The military paid for all of it. But I also had to go to Afghanistan and Iraq to do that. Right. So my kids could go to undergrad. But this is the thing though, right? If college, can anybody on stage tell me who takes advantage of student loans the most?
The
Black people,
government.
African
What
Americans,
race?
black people.
African
Black
Americans.
people.
American
Sallie Mae call you every Sunday.
that the most. Number one, and the race is the African American woman. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, I'm just keeping it real. If that translated into revenue, then they would be the highest paid. So, and I'm saying that to be real. I'm not sugarcoating anything. I don't care if you like it. I'm looking at the statistics. A college degree does not, and beyond reasonable doubt. Okay, what is the average revenue for? Now, you said you have an IT degree, correct?
Right.
How much money? Now, that history degree, okay, what would that history degree, how much money would you get? What does the average history high school teacher make?
And of course, it always depends on where you're at, but I would say somewhere between 40 to
About
60.
40 to
Yeah,
45.
depending on where you live. Depending on where you
No,
live.
30. I said the average. Right now, Google the average. What does the average history teacher make? $30,000.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now, anybody want to fact check that?
Now, see, it ain't all about money for everybody, right? Some people just
Question
enjoy history.
with Clarissa though. Don't you think that you can make more impact if you made more money?
No,
Absolutely, Tony,
no.
but
Absolutely.
I just
Yeah.
feel that you always have imbalance when and I know you're just very incendiary with this on purpose, but like the thing is that most people on this stage right now, many people have children who are with those 40K people right now, and they're educating them right now and caring for other people's children and their cognitive development. And I just feel like that needs to be folded into the conversation.
Yes, ma'am. But okay, so
But also,
go ahead,
can
jump
I?
in, Iron, and then we're gonna move the mic around. I see Helen is on stage. Thank you for
Yeah,
joining us. But go ahead, jump in. And this is we're doing
yeah,
popcorn style, guys. Look. I'm going to debate with numbers. I don't care what's subjective, what you think about. I'm going to debate with numbers. You might not like it, but I'm gonna just tell you the way that I look at the education system. Okay, and then you can debate me, or you can actually look this stuff up and fact check what I'm saying. Okay, so I know you had something else to add, Iron. Go ahead, jump in, bro.
yeah.
And thank you for your service.
So real quick, appreciate it. Real quick, it's when you put it money as the most valuable thing, then of course education don't make sense, right? Going to college don't make sense. But if you put quality of life, actually being a person that can critically think about things, that can and also have some kind of skill set, because there are some skill sets you can get from college, like being engineers and architects and that kind of thing, where you learn how those principles actually work. Yeah, you can go out tomorrow and get a kit and go build a house, right? But if you understand it, you can create houses instead of just building it, you know? So there's a I guess the person has to decide, okay, is it all about the money, or is it more about what I get out of life than just money?
What do you guys think?
I want to
Lucky,
say this.
Sierra, jump in.
It, you need an education for everything. Whether you just decide to be an entrepreneur, somebody's teaching you how to be a business owner. They are. Whether it's the educated people that's doing it, or you just having to learn the hard way through experience, there is some type of education involved in being successful financially. It is. That's why you see some people that have made all of this money. I mean, school ain't gonna teach you financial literacy, but there's entrepreneurs that never went to school, made all this money, lost it all, made it again. But they had to learn. There was an education piece they were missing. And so I'm not gonna say that school is a scam, but like everyone has said, them loans and taxes, scam.
Okay,
But I don't think you need, I'm sorry, I don't think necessarily it's a college degree that's needed. I have three. I'm fortunate enough to have gone, to be born in a country where education's actually free. And the only thing I had to pay for was my postgraduate degree. But my two undergrads, they were absolutely free. And even my postgraduate degree was like £10,000, which may have been like, at the time, like maybe $15,000, right? The equivalent. I think that if you're going to go to school to be in the medical,
1 second. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you say that
Mhm.
again? You said that your two undergraduates was what?
Absolutely free.
Free. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going, sister. Keep going. I like
Um,
you.
I think if people are actually going, there's specific industry that requires a college degree, right? So if you're going to be like a doctor, a lawyer, stuff like that, you need to go to college to actually get that education, a college degree. However, if you're actually, like, for example, my second degree is actually business administration. Other than the fact that I actually own my own business, if I actually didn't start my own business, my that would have been a waste of time. So I'm thankful that it was free. So perhaps education in America should gear towards more vocational schools, like vocational institutes, which again we have many of those in the UK. So then that way people aren't paying so much out of pocket. For these degrees that they're left with so much debt. Another thing that I actually wanted to mention, for example, when my daughter was actually about to go to college, she said to me, she goes, "Mom, if we had to do this all over again, I would have gone to a community college first and then finished up in college." She goes, "The way they make community college out, they make it as though if you go to community college, you're stupid."
Yeah,
And she goes,
they
and that
just make you feel like your degree is
that's
less
what she
than
said.
because
She
it's
said
not a
they
major
make you
university.
feel like you
Yeah,
don't have much sense. And so, I mean, like she went to a private college in New York. She got scholarship, but we took her out of it because it just wasn't what it was, right? So she not, like I said, she now goes to John Jay, which is like 6,000 a year, and we can afford to actually pay that. So she'll graduate her master's with no debt, but her friends, like my niece that went to NYU, she's got 200,000 in student debt, and she hasn't even started working in her field. So I think college in America is a business. There's no two way about that.
Oh
Can
man.
I just say, as a strategy though, the 2-year college to transfer, it you just really have to be careful with that because sometimes you can start to do the first 2 years in a community college and the credits won't transfer. So sometimes people think that, they have this brilliant solution and then when they're ready to transfer, they end up having to do all 4 years elsewhere anyway.
Now, here's the deal. This is what I'm going to do, guys. Now, listen, as soon as I see right now, we currently have 3 people on the chat. This is what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to give you guys the first tool, okay, to put in your toolbox, okay, to avoid student loan debt. Okay. And we're going to start with this. Now, for those of you who don't have kids, that's okay. But put a 1 in the chat if you're ready for the first tool. I'm going to talk to you guys about this because a lot of people, this is something that people are not talking about. Okay. Kid is born. Wah! Okay. The first thing I do for my kid, as soon as they get born, I'm going to open up this account. Okay. And it's called a UTMA. Okay. Now, the UTMA, Ian, Sierra, Bruno, who wants to take this one? The UTMA. Can y'all talk about what it is and the max contribution annually to it?
All right, yeah. So UTMA, Uniform Transfers to Minors Act. So this is an opportunity for you as somebody with a little bit of extra money that you want to bestow upon a child or a minor. This is your avenue to do so. So you can just contact a financial institution that offers this product, and what you do is you can submit this money into that account, and it can start growing into some sort of interest-bearing account of your choosing. So what you do is, like I said, baby's born, you contact your financial institution, transfer the money, let that money grow until that minor is ready to use it for whatever circumstance you have. All right, so there's a lot of different ways to skin in this cat. But long story short, it's a brokerage account for a minor.
Now let's utilize this as an example. Okay, so I'm going to post. We're going to do this, and the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because this is what people are not doing. Right? They wait. Why do you wait? Why do your kid have to go to school for 13 years before you start having a plan to avoid the student loan debt? So let's utilize Simone's example. Right? Let's just say Simone decided that she had a Anthony Glenn, I'm going to be your son, Simone. Is that okay? All right. So Simone decides that she says, okay. And Sierra, if you can, no, Ian, I'll go to Ian and then Sierra. We're going to use we're going to do Sierra. You're going to do the Coverdale next. So if you can Google, get the Coverdale ready, that's what we're going to talk about. That's going to be the second tool that we're talking about. You got that, Sierra?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, and then Bruno, are you here? Brother Bruno?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're going to take the custodial Roth IRA 2023. Okay, so we're going to read the highlights of the rules, and then we're going to tell you guys why this is important. Now, let's just say that I'm born. Okay, we're going to even go half of that. So she pays $500 a month for her student loans, which is going to be $200,000 of in deferment over a 20-year period. We're going to use that same scenario with less time, and we're going to see with her investing $100 bi-monthly. That means bi-weekly. That means every 2 weeks, right? And she's going to put $100 every 2 weeks. Okay, so that's $50 a week into this UTMA at the same interest rate. Now, right now, I want you guys to do this. How much money do you think that she'll have in 19 years? On year 19, with putting $200 away, okay, into the UTMA, put it in the chat. How much money you think that she'll have right now? For those of you that are here, how much? Let's just see who's going to be close. Okay, she's putting $200 away per month, okay, into the UTMA. How much money do you think that she'll have by the time that Anthony Glenn, her son, is 19, the first year of college? Put it in the chat right now. What do you guys think? Okay. We're going to utilize the compound interest calculator to calculate. Put it in the chat. How much money do you think that she'll have in that time? Okay. I'm looking in the chat, y'all. 800K. Okay. We got 800K by Albert. Who else? And a meeting, so have to run. Thank you. Okay, no problem, Simone. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? 800K, 400K, same return, 8%. The same money that she has to pay the bank is going to be the same number I'm going to use for my money growing. 400,000. Okay. All right. So let's do it. Okay. Ian, can you post a compound interest calculator in the chat? Now I'm giving these examples. Okay. And Ian, can you tweet it? Okay. Don't put it in the nest, but tweet it. Okay. We're going to do this real time. Okay. So, and the reason why I'm doing this, guys, is because I want people to come back and listen to this and show you guys 100. Okay. Ella says $107,000. Okay. All right. Let's do it real time. Okay. Ian, are you ready to rock out? Okay.
Yeah, but I got you.
Okay. Ready?
Yep. Compound interest calculator.
You ready? You got it up?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to do zero contribution. I'm not investing any money. I'm starting out with zero. So the monthly contribution is going to be $200.
Okay.
Okay. The initial investment is going to be $200.
I thought you said we were starting zero.
Okay, we're not putting the $50,000 in. We're putting 200,000. We're going to put 200 in there first. So we're going to open up the account with $200.
Okay.
My monthly contribution is going to be $200. Next field.
Okay. Length of time in years.
19 years.
19 years. Estimated interest rate.
8.
Variance range.
8.
Compounded annually?
Yep.
All right, calculate. All right, with $200 a month over 19 years, you will have $100,000.
Alice was pretty close. Okay. So now I have enough money by utilizing this strategy. Okay. By putting the little money away for a long time in a UTMA. And Ian, can you go? I'm going to come back to you because I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to ask you about like what are the rules to the UTMA? Just the highlights from the class, like the basic rules, like when can I take the money out? What's the max contribution that I can put in there? Okay. And this is a way to avoid student loans. Why aren't people talking about that? Why go to school for 13 years? Now, I'm gonna do a little bit of trivia, okay? You go to school to get good what? IMG?
Great.
Get
Good, good
grades.
grades.
Okay, what time do you usually go to school?
In the morning.
In the AM, okay? You go to school in the AM, okay? You go to school. Now, private schools, you wear a uniform. Now, you go to school at 8 o'clock, and then you have a lunch break. And then you go back to school. And then you have homework to do. Monday through Friday with weekends off. Okay? Then you go to when you graduate, when you get good grades in college, you graduate and go where?
Work.
To college, right? So now you're going to college for 4 more years. So 13 plus 4 is what?
17.
17. And then usually grad school is 3 years. How many years is that?
20.
20 years. So when you're looking at this, the college education system in America is designing for you to be an employee. You got 13 years, okay? And then what job do you know that you got to come home and do a bunch of homework with? You usually go to work, and then when you get home, it's your family time. My kids, listen, my children, no bull crap, are in private school right now. Ian will tell you, Bruno will tell you, Sierra will tell you. They know me. Jose knows me. My kids go to school. They get out at 3. My son and daughter are doing homework from 3 all the way up to 8 o'clock sometimes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the teachers be doing too much now. They do way
Okay.
too much in school. Way too much.
Um, I have a question, and after today, Anthony, we are no longer friends. But I just wanted to say this, that like you had a career in the military. Simultaneously, you were getting substantial education, and then you did real estate investing. So why are you discussing an education in such a linear way that it sounds as though you're suggesting that multiple streams of income cannot be cultivated at the same time? So someone can do 20 years of education, but they just need to do it differently, I think.
Are you asking me or are you telling me?
I meant to inflection at the end as a question.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Okay. My the reason why I look at the education system is that they're mentally pushing people into doing. Okay, when you go to school, okay, so let me ask this question. I'm gonna pitch this question back to you. Welcome to the stage, Ellis. Okay, here's what I'm gonna ask. Okay, so and I see the independent brother. Thank you for coming up. I'm gonna add you as a speaker. Okay, so Dan and Ian, can you make sure you look at Twitter Spaces? Thank you for coming up. The Bear, did you have any questions? I'm gonna answer the question real quick. The independent, what do you? Thank you for joining our space. What value do you have to add to the conversation?
Thank you. Good morning, wherever you are. Um, I believe in formal education. I don't believe it's for everyone, but I definitely believe in formal education and including college. I grew up in Syria, so my education in high school was in Syria, and then I came to the United States and I studied. Um, I have a 4-year college degree, Bachelor's of Science in Management Information Systems. That was in the mid 80s. But I believe formal education is very important because it gives you disciplines. Um, it covers a lot of topics, and I believe if you want to be a healthy, smart individual who can maneuver through the lies and the superstition in this world, um, being formally educated in science and especially mathematics and physics and chemistry and all of these um, classical um, science um, is very important. Is very important, and it allows you to jump around in the world. You're no longer bound to a specific little tiny area. You can jump around the world and be a much more influential individual than you know um, not having the formal education. So I really believe in formal education. I'm an entrepreneur, so I create my own income, and I attribute it all to my education. I mean, it's that whole. And I'm not a good student. I'm I'm a C student. B, sometimes B and C. I'm definitely not an A student, but I can grasp the concepts, and I don't do well in tests, but I can grasp the concepts. And for example, like today, if you go into a space, I don't know if you ever go into a stupid space like this, but you have the flat Earth and the round Earth. It's kind of stupid, but if you have formal education, you can make a judgment on something like this. Without formal education, I think you can be easily manipulated. That's. Now, is college worth it? It depends on the curriculum that you choose. It depends on the major that you choose. If you choose, there's about 50% bad majors. 50%, I don't know, but 50% that are variables that they go in and out. Like my major was phased out. Management information systems. They didn't even know how to merge the business with computers, and they created that, and it kind of phased out. But technology is moving really fast. The computer engineer, the programmer, is still solid. It's still the main
Well, but let me
formal.
and let me make sure. I got what you're saying, and I want to. Here's a part that I want to highlight though. Let me ask you a quick question because I want to make sure we move the mic around. But let me ask you this question, and thank you for coming to the space. Right? Here's the deal. Right? The education that you received was stellar education in regard to basically a STEM degree, correct?
I'm not really sure what you mean by that, but it's a bachelor's of science from the
Right.
university. Yeah.
Science, right? STEM. STEM is
Oh, I see. Yeah, bachelor's of. Okay,
right.
go ahead.
What is it? Science, technology. What is it? Engineering and math, right? Is that was
No,
that
no, no. I actually I belong to the business school.
right?
Technically, I'm
That's
a
right,
business
brother.
school. Yeah.
Right, but your degree. Okay, so now you get that degree. Okay, then you have to do what? You're going to work with a science degree. Typically, you're working with an organization, and you get pretty good. You get paid pretty good money, correct?
Well, I mean, that's the optimal scenario. My story, my life story, is different than
No, no,
this, but
yeah, I understand,
regardless.
but
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the classical one.
right.
Yes,
So
because
just
go
follow
ahead.
me real quick because I'm trying to make a point here. So now, what would be the ideal place that you would get a job at, and how much money would it pay?
Yeah, you see, I don't know because I became an entrepreneur from the beginning of my life because of me immigrating to the United States. You know, I didn't have a visa to work in the United States after I graduated. So I had to invent my own path. But you can make good money and work with a lot of different companies.
Give me an example of
IT.
one
So,
company. Give me an example of one company, real quick.
I
Just
mean, my internship was with IBM.
okay, boom, right there.
Um,
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so IBM, you have a science baccalaureate degree. You get a science degree. Let's just go. You go to UC Berkeley and you get a Bachelor of Science, which will cost you approximately $70,000 a year to go to Berkeley to get a science degree. Now you go to IBM, you become with a baccalaureate degree, you get paid $180,000 at $1 billion company, right? That sounds about accurate. But the problem with that is that you're not really making the money. You're helping IBM make money. Would you not agree?
yes, you're working for the man. Yes.
So
You're
so
working for somebody else's dream, not your dream. Yes.
and that's the point that I'm trying to make, right? I don't care what type of degree that you guys have in the room, and I'm glad that you said that because, brother, I know you. And thank you for joining us. Make sure you give me a follow, right? I want to make sure that you come here because we do these rooms every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we have thought-provoking conversations like this.
Yes, I'm already following you.
Right. And I'm not telling you guys not to go to school, but what I am telling you is that it's not this or that. It should be this and that. If America was designed for you to make money, then why are they charging you so much money to get the degree? And then when you get the degree, a lot of people are getting $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 of student loan debt. And obviously it's a problem because if you go back to the top of the page, you will see that the student loan debt is in the trillions that has to be forgiven. So people are getting these and now I'm going to tell you another thing that's happening with people who are getting this student loans. They're getting the student loans. Now, if I disappear, man, that means that the big man got me. Okay. So make sure you kiss my baby on the cheek and know that I'm speaking facts. Now, this is the dirty, rotten truth that Dr. Carissa is not going to tell you. The education system, you're teaching people, that person spends more time with your kids than you do. So they're not getting paid enough. Now, the kids are going to school, they're getting their education. You don't see them. They now transition into college. You got them into school, they get that. But why not teach them in the 13 years about trades and entrepreneurship so they have an option? I do not know one high school that's teaching kids about UTMAs. Why they don't teach about this stuff? Hey, what about a UTMA? I just showed you guys that the UTMA can at 8% will have $100,000 at 19 years old, but they don't want you to know this information. So you go to school and depend on student loan because it feeds the GDP.
Well, Tony, real quick, I got a question. Is that not the same thing as certain major cities have certain schools that are designed for mathematics, engineers? Like my sisters live in Houston, and they have schools for medical, engineering, construction at a high school level. So that way, when they get out of high school, they're pretty much got an associate's moving into college to do their profession. Is that not the same thing?
No, it's not because see, STEM is STEM, right? Not everybody's going to be able to go in that genre. Not everybody's designed to sit in a classroom with a bunch of people to do that.
Right.
What I'm
Right.
saying, the point that I'm trying to make, guys, is that education is to make money. I mean, let's really think about it. You
Oh
go,
no, no, that's what I disagree with you. Education
it's
is not
part
about
of it.
making money.
It's part of it though.
No, actually, the, this competitive. Okay, because I came from another country, I have a completely different perspective. Because you're part of this nation, I came into this nation as an opportunity. So I always look at it as abundance of opportunity. Because I've seen worse as a nation. So for you to talk about it that way, it's always like, well, I don't see it that way. I'm always seeing it like, wow, that was the land of opportunity. This is why I immigrated, and it's true because I'm still here. I love it. Um, but if you make the case for the money, I think you can ruin a lot of lives in that sense as well, because money corrupts. Money, when you have abundance of money, you lose value of things. We as a human being really don't value things unless we work hard for them. So um, that that kind of a struggle is not that bad because it builds character and it builds societies and it builds all this stuff. Um, Making money is very important, but I think it's the system that is not allowing you to make good money. But it's not because it's because it's not because it's not a free economy. Like really, when you talk about free economy, this is the freest economy you can have on this stupid little planet called Earth. Like there's nothing else. So
And I agree with you, and I agree with you in regard to that. But let's go back to what I was saying. Educate kids are going to school because they want to get okay. How does learning about history, now follow me with this, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. How does an hour of PE translate to making me money or making me a better? How does how does now this is gonna make a lot of people mad, and I'm glad if you're gonna get pissed because I want to pass the mic around, and then I want to make sure that you guys get these tools out because I want to make sure we're not just gonna debate, we're also gonna give tools to avoid student loans. I owe you guys that, okay? So how does Jamal even said it right here? I agree it should be taught, but the parents' responsibility to teach financial literacy. Isn't it the whole purpose of going to school is so you guys could get the tools that you need to be a successful human being in life, right? So when you think of
to be a smart human being in life. It's not to be successful, just to be
Can
smart.
I add the
smart
PE?
does not translate into money. God, come on, man. I can't
Yeah,
believe y'all
yeah,
don't
yeah.
get
But
this.
you see, because
The
the goal is not money. If you put goal is money, you change the game. Money, just like when you play with the interest, that's playing with money, and you're playing with money the same way they play with interest. I believe interest is wrong because it destroys the economy. It just puts it in a loop. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down because that's how it works with an interest based economy. But money is never the objective. I mean, I have to assume that money is not the objective.
It's not the
Otherwise,
objective. It's not the objective for you. But if it wasn't, then why do we have a let me pass the mic. I'm gonna pass the mic to Bruno. Who had the statistics? Iron, I know you want to jump in. Sierra, go ahead and jump in and give me the statistics of the what I just asked for, and then I'm gonna go back to Bruno with his statistics because and I want the reason why we're not just going to debate, but think about it, guys. Listen, America is a capitalistic country. So you have holidays. Why do they give you time off around the holidays? So you can spend money. Come on, man. Y'all got to wake up. Think about it.
Can I say something? Because you know what? The physical education part. This
Thank you
is
for
and
this.
no,
You
in
got
all
someone, Tony. You got
Back.
someone.
We want to make sure that you guys, thank you for this, but we want to really have a debate here. Lucky, I see you came off mic, but go ahead, Sierra, jump in.
Okay, I'll just hold my physical education comments. But I will get to the Coverdell Education Savings Account. It's basically an account that you can contribute up to 2,000 a year, and it's for individuals under the age of 18, with the exception of those with special needs. And so this account, I'm not gonna say it's useless because, some people do have, those special needs situations where they have to pay for these, extra money for these special schools. And is another way to avoid, taxes up front. So that when you do have to make these education, pay for these educational expenses, it helps. But it also can be used for higher education as well. And that is the Coverdell Education Savings Account. It kind of works like a trust. And so you can only use it for specific expenses. That's what it all boils down to.
So thank you, and thank you guys. So Coverdell is so the Coverdell account, and a lot of people put Coverdell in the chat. And the reason why we're asking you guys to do this is so you guys have the research and the tools that you need to research these things. Okay, we talked about the UTMA. Bruno, do you have the UTMA facts?
No, I mean, I know the one that we were going to be talking about was the custodial IRA.
Okay, go ahead and cover the custodial Roth real
I
quick.
got the UTMA.
Okay, and then Ian will do the
Yeah. So,
UTMA.
okay, yeah. So for the custodial Roth, right? It's an account that a custodian, which is typically the parent, that they can hold for that minor when they have the earned income. So I know a lot of times we start talking about how you can hire your kids and you can start putting them on salary and giving them pay. So then now it opens you up for you to be able to open that for your kids to have them started with an individual retirement account early on, right? So one of the things that I'm dropping right now in the chat right now is the numbers for 2023. So the contribution limit, which is 6,500, or a total amount of money that your child made for the year. So whichever is less. So, but yeah, that's the custodial Roth, and I'll end there.
And thank you for that. So right now we got the couple of tools, and like I said, we're going to be talking about some alternative ways so you guys know these tools, even if you don't have kids or have kids. Now, here we're going to give you the pros and cons. Now, the con to the Coverdell account is that there's a max contribution to it, and it can only be used for college. Okay. The con to the custodial Roth IRA, which is $6,500 annually for the year, or whichever is less. Now, when you start doing these things, people are going to be like, oh, then my tuition assistance I can't get. Well, what will you need tuition assistance when you have a plan, right? So now we're going to go back to the UTMA, and that's going to be the next one. And we're going to open it up for questioning. Can you go ahead and give me the UTMA facts? And Sierra, can you post the Coverdell bullet points so I can post it on the SITREP YouTube in the chat, please? Ian, over to you.
All right. Okay. So UTMA, Uniform Transfers to Minors Act. All right. So this was something that was developed to make sure that it's kind of like basically establishing a trust for a child without going through the formality of establishing a trust. All right. So one of the big things you have to take away from this thing is knowing that you can put any amount of money in there that you want.
Say it again.
Any dollar amount that you have available, you can put it in there. There is no contribution limits. All right. So, however, there are things you got to deal with. All right. So, for one, once you put it in there, that money is the child's or the beneficiaries. So that's no different than, it's once that money is out of your pocket, you can't take it back unless you are the custodian of the account and you are acting in the minor's best interest. This is just for minors, right? So this is a great account because what you do is that you have the opportunity to utilize this money when that child goes to school, right? But this is not to be conflicted with the 529. The 529 is only for school. Whereas the UTMA, you can use it for housing, you can use it for tuition, you could use it for a vehicle. You could use it as you wish or as that minor wishes. That as long as the custodian is acting under the advancement of the beneficiary. However, too, just be on the lookout too. If you are if you are a type of person who needs financial aid, this sort of account can compromise your eligibility for financial aid because it does count as an asset. However, you know what I mean? It's better to be ahead of the game than to try to play catch up. Over to you, Tony.
Now, the reason why we're doing this, guys, is because why aren't they teaching this in school? Because they want you to get that student loan. Like these are tools right here. We just gave three of them. The UTMA, which is that's my favorite one. The UTMA is a Uniform Trust of Minors Act. And that account, you can put the maximum amount of money in there, tax deferred, Ellis, until you take it out. Okay, so that means that the money is going to grow tax deferred. When you take the money out, obviously you're going to be subject to taxes, right? But that money is going to grow. That's the biggest thing, and you can take advantage of it at 18. And you can have real estate, ETFs, stocks, bonds, all types of stuff in there. Why isn't America teaching that in school, right? And I just showed you that it'll be $100,000 at 8%, which is the average return of the S&P 500, right? Is 8 to 12% over the last 10 years for the S&P 500. So why not just get information? I mean, get these accounts, set them up, and put $50 a month into them, and for 20 years, and then now you can avoid student loan debt. It's not, see, a lot of people don't understand the fundamental thing with money. You listen to me. I'm going to say this. You will never save your way to wealth. You can only invest your way to wealth. Now, if I gave Ellis a $20 bill, what's that $20 bill worth?
$20.
It's not worth anything until he starts to put it to use.
Bingo. Say it again.
It's not worth anything. It's just a piece of paper until he actually puts that to use and trades it for something.
Money is useless until you trade it for value. That money sitting in your account is not like you got dollar bills sitting in there. You go to your bank now. Now, this is something that a lot of people are not going to like, but I'm just going to keep it real. That money that you got in your savings account is useless. It's just sitting in there. You got money for emergencies. The bank it gives you something at the end of the month. What's that called? A bank statement, right? That bank statement is going to give you 0.0020 cents or whatever it is at the end of the month. You know why? Because the more money that you have in the bank, they're collateralizing and utilizing that money that you have in the bank to borrow against. That's not physical money sitting in the bank. Let that sink in, right? So when we're talking about this thing, is college a scam? Okay. What I'm talking about is subjective. It's going to be up to you to make that decision. Who else wants to jump in? The mic is open.
So I think so Iron he made a comment in the chat where he says when we're talking about the value of money, he says it has value regardless if you use it or not. But I think I think the takeaway from what it was that we were saying, man, is that um, it's literally a piece of paper, right? Does it have value in the grand scheme of things? It does, but unless you are, it only has value because you are going to be trading it for something. Like I give you money, you give me something in return, right? And that's what gives it value. I mean, if it's just sitting in my pocket, how much value does it have when it's not worth anything, when it's just sitting in my pocket? I think that's a question that I'll ask Iron.
Aaron, are you on stage? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So explain to me, like, why do you believe that, let's really think about it. Okay. So why do you feel that a $20 bill, like, well, okay, so what is the American dollar? What gives it value? Do you know?
So right now it's not backed by anything. So what gives it value is the word of the United States government backing it is what gives it value. But to get to what I was trying to say in the chat was that the thing that's value is determined by that $20 bill is what you purchase, right? That $20 bill is gonna be worth $20 all day long. It's what you buy that's the value will change based on what you pay for it. So that's a little the way he
Can I
said it was
jump
a
in
little
real quick?
backwards.
Yes, Iron. Were you finished, Iron?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you a little bit of pushback, man. This room, we have a difference of opinion. But Albert, go ahead, jump in. I'm going to tell you what the American dollar is backed by. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't want to steal your thunder, but
Go ahead, jump
that's
in.
exactly what I was gonna. Okay, so the United States dollar is not backed by anything, but I'm gonna tell you why the American dollar is so important in the world and the reason why we are such a potency. Okay, it's because the American dollar is the international currency. In order for you to do to a transfer, ding 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 ding. Guess what? Oil. Okay, that is the reason why the American dollar is so important. Is because it is the currency that it has been determined in order for you to transfer oil. And there has been countries in the past that has tried to change that currency. And can anybody take a wild stab at which countries have tried to take the American dollar that's not backed by anything? Because back in the 80s it was backed by gold and silver and all that stuff. Since the 80s, guys, I'm giving you guys like the so that way you guys can kind of this can click. Since the 80s there has been other countries that have been tried to take that currency away from the United States. Can we get some of the countries? Let's see if
I
we can
mean,
get
Libya was one of them, and that's why he got unalive. But
and who else? There's been a couple of countries.
China.
I mean, they doing it now with BRICS, right? That's what BRICS all
China,
about.
Venezuela, China, Venezuela, Russia, and Iran. Crazy that there are enemies, huh? And that's the reason why, guys, like this is like bigger than what a lot of people really truly are able to understand. That's the reason why. It's because these countries have tried to take away, what essentially holds value to our currency.
Yeah, but it's all backed. I mean, we can. Yes, what you're saying is absolutely true. But really, what's keeping it pegged to the oil price or the oil is the military might of the United States. If people could beat the United States in war, then they would do whatever they wanted to with their currency, and there's nothing that we could do about it, and then it would change.
Now I'll tell you the reason why. There's a couple of things. Okay, so you have economic stability, right? Low unemployment and consistent economic growth. That's number one. Soft power is number two that keeps the US currency good. Anybody know what soft power is? Anybody know what soft power is? Soft power?
Controlling Saudi Arabia.
Soft power. Anybody somebody could somebody Google that? Can somebody Google the definition of soft power and tell me what it is, please? If you guys can do that for me. Soft power, what is it? Ian, can you read that definition? What is soft power? You got the Federal Reserve. We got a strong structured government and how we exchange commodities. Our trade balance, our political stability. It's a bunch of things. Global reserve,
You want me to read it off, Tony?
inflation. Gold and commodities. America has a lot of gold too, as well. And for foreign exchange reserves, everybody takes the U.S. dollar, right? Because they know that we have a stable. It's multiple things. Dan, did you get the definition of soft power?
Yeah, it said in politics, soft power is the ability to co-opt rather than coerce. It involves shaping and preferences of others through appeal and attraction.
So think about it like this, right? So appeal and attraction could be Tesla. Appeal and contraction and attraction could be rap music. Appeal and attraction could be Taylor Swift. You understand? This is all revenue, right? It's not always technology. We and the biggest thing is our military. That is true. We have think of a monopoly board, right? Where America is strategically located, right? In different locations of the region. Germany, where does that cover? Okay. Japan, okay. Africa. We have strategically put ourselves in places to where we can reach out and touch people, which is why we're able to maintain our economy, right? So, and then when you look at China, everybody's like, oh, China's a threat. Okay. China will implode if they had to do a sustained war. That's why they do proxy wars. If you notice what just happened, they had a big meeting. Okay. Ellis might know about this because I don't want to get into politics and make it all boring. But Ellis, who are you here?
I am here, Tony. I'm enjoying this conversation immensely.
Okay, so can you know the big China just met with some big players like Microsoft. You know about that? Are you following it or no? I don't want to put you.
I have not been following that in detail. No.
Does anybody know why China just came out and said what they talked about? They had a big summit. I want you guys to Google this. Look at the organizations that just met with China. Does anybody know who was there? Take a good guess at who was at that summit. Anybody know? I can't believe y'all not following this, man. Anybody know? Anybody want to guess?
First pull up says the EU leaders. That's what I'm coming up with right now. But I'll keep digging.
Okay. China publicly came out and said, I'm going to find this link. We are not enemies of the United States. We want to build with the United States. What is Apple doing right now? What did Apple just announce? One of the richest organizations on the planet. What did they just announce? That they were going to take their stuff and start manufacturing in Mexico and India. Okay. So, do you know what that will do to China's economy? So when we're talking about this stuff and we're starting to think about these things, it's a lot more deep than most people think. Does anybody, let me do a quick room reset. You guys are in the Winning Real Estate. Thank you guys for pulling up to the space today. We're talking about, is college a scam? Okay. Shout out to Dr. Carissa for debating with me all the time, because I know she's going to start leaning and saying that, that she wish she would have became an entrepreneur earlier. All right. Does anybody have any questions or comments to the conversation so far?
I have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ellis is a sellout because he teaches at UCLA, and I just wanted to note that for the record.
Ellis makes more money.
He does, and
Wait, hold on. He makes more money from his entrepreneurial endeavors than he does educating at UCLA. Am I correct?
I know, but he's in the comments sounded like he's one of, he's not one of us. But you didn't answer my question from earlier, Tony, because I was talking about, you said it was a statement, but it really was a question, because I feel like you had a military career,
Mhm.
and then you had several degrees that also took you years to get, and then your real estate career. So it's not it's not really, what you're saying isn't even representative of your path, because it was you've always been doing multiple things, and so you're describing it as if the education trajectory is a singular one, and that's not even the path that you took. And I meant for that to be a question, but I just can't seem to have inflection at the end of what I'm saying every time I say that.
Okay.
Because it's multiple things happening at the same time, and so I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's pairing education with other things that is the solution.
Okay.
I hear an echo. I hear an echo.
I'm with you with that. But essentially what I'm saying is this, man, like U.S. greatest threat to world peace, China's largest English shot at the headline. Okay. That China does not consider America an enemy. Now, for me, I think, looking back at my education, my military career taught me leadership. My degree has nothing to do with my level of success today, unfortunately. Now, what college did do is it taught me how to complete something. My business acumen came from research. Even my MBA, all I did is a case study of organizations, but it didn't tell me how to start a business. I started a business from getting in the game and doing it myself and making my mistakes. Okay? And
Can I push back a little on that,
of
Tony?
course you can. Don't be afraid to jump in there, man. You can push back all you want to. Welcome to the stage.
So So I would beg to differ. I would say that college teaches you how to critically think is really the ultimate skill that you learn in college.
High school doesn't do that,
It
and elementary school don't teach you how to critically think.
not really, especially in Florida.
So 13
But
years of
the
school doesn't teach you how to critically think. Okay, but go ahead.
I don't think so. K through 12 is pretty much rote learning to learn the basics, and then college allows you the space and ability to kind of put all of those skills together and couple them with critical thinking skills, because you have to, like you said, it taught you to with your MBA you did research on how to, or on a case study, whatever that case study was. So critically thinking through what your topic was and how to put it together in order to earn a grade was the skill that you learned, which helped you in your business to troubleshooting and problem solving. So that's what I would say.
So with
And you
entrepreneurship, go ahead, doctor.
No, I was going to say, Bella, you would say it because it's absolutely correct. That is exactly what happens. And this that's what I'm saying. It's like there's a discussion that suggests that cognitively these things all happen in isolation, and they don't. My 8:30 class, I taught two sections this morning. It's called argumentation, and it is all analytical writing. And all of those students come with only exposition to college because that's all they've done K through 12, which is preparing them to think and make claims and then support them. And what I'm saying is it's a journey. And the journey should be paired with more. And part of the more is what you're teaching here. And I've commended you for that. But at the same time, to separate these threads is not really supporting a whole person. It doesn't, it, it just doesn't, it's not comprehensive enough as a vision. It's not roomy enough.
I'll say this: the analogy of entrepreneurship and education, and how I kind of marry the two, and just even looking at your situation, Tony, it's like, you learned to you went to school, you did the research to make good grades, but now you do the work and the research to make good money. So that grade A or B or C or whatever you got in school kind of, can be reflected in your business. I know, I don't think that you would be able to kind of articulate and educate on the level that you do if you didn't have an education. Now, that's just me, because what is the
I'd like to jump in on
likelihood of
this.
you
Yeah.
being more personable if, you didn't go to college? Do you think that you are the same individual, or that you would have, I guess, excelled on the level that you have intellectually when it comes to dealing with the other people and educating others if you did not go to college?
110%. And I keep saying this,
Can I jump in,
trying to
Tony?
change my mind. Listen what I'm saying.
Hey, Tony.
Yo,
I'd like to jump in when I get a chance.
I got you next. Listen to me. You see it in the chat. Ellis is a educator at the school. My degree in finance didn't teach me as much as my lunches with wise real estate investors. I mean, now this is, and I'll say something. Now the professors might disagree with me, but a lot of these guys that are professors don't run Fortune 500 companies either. A lot of these,
But
If your
Ellis
only
also
metric is
wait,
that.
let me finish. A lot of these people teaching finance don't practice what they preach. My CPA
Ellis
is not a millionaire. So I'm just saying, listen. My professor that taught me the business, I asked the question straight up. What business do you own and how long have you had it? And you know what he told me? I don't have a business. So how am I learning something from someone that's educating me about business that they don't have any proof of concept? They went to school to teach business. Doesn't necessarily mean they operate a professional business. Like, all I'm saying is that I learned to run a business, to start these 7 companies that I have today from getting with good people and figuring it out, getting in the game, figuring it out, creating, looking up. I didn't even write a business plan in college. You know what I wrote? You know
I,
where I got the business plan from? A template offline.
I have a question for you and Bruno.
Yes.
So, when you were in training, in your military, your entire career in the military,
Mm-hmm.
and you were learning what you needed to learn about war and engagement,
Uh-huh.
had every single person that taught you something been in a war?
Did anyone teaching me war?
So
Go ahead.
Had everybody been in combat? Every single person that taught you something along the way about combat, and Sierra as well. Anybody else? Because I know this. I forgot what kind of room I'm in. So, did every single person see combat who had something to teach you?
Bruno, you want to answer?
so I can answer
No,
that.
they did
Yeah.
not. No.
So hold on. So I can answer that. So yeah.
Did you
I mean so
disregard
so
them if they had not seen combat?
Yes.
So no, so the thing is, Dr. Clarissa, is that I mean, yeah, like so not everyone that trained me or taught me about combat had experienced combat, especially at the time that I came in, right? So I came in right as the war started. So a lot of the people that were teaching about things had not experienced it because they hadn't seen a war in, in like a super long ass time. But so yes, they were teaching me things based off of what they read in books, right? But unfortunately, when I did deploy and I did see combat, a lot of the things that were taught to me by the people that had not experienced combat was not as effective as the information that was taught to me by the combat veterans that were teaching me from their experience to help me succeed. But I mean, but I do know where you're coming from,
Can
and I
you say
do
it again?
agree that
Can you say it one more time,
there
Bruno?
still is.
Can you
No,
no,
so
no,
like
no, no. Wait,
you
wait.
know,
I want to hear. Listen, I would rather in combat. If okay, Bruno, if somebody was teaching you drill, okay, let me give you guys an example. I'm going to say this. You're not going to understand the terminology. If a drill instructor did not, if a senior went straight to senior and they wasn't an experienced drill instructor, do they get the same level of respect for the person who actually did it? Yes or no?
no,
Oh no.
absolutely not.
Oh no.
And the reason why is because they don't have the experience. They're only talking subjectively. You're going to get more experience. You're going to get more like, don't give me advice on something that you've never done. You're only analyzing you're only analyzing a situation that you read in a book. But I'm gonna trust Michael Jordan to help me get to a championship because he has the experience. Now, does that answer your
Yeah,
question?
no,
Well, you're
but
gonna. Well,
I get Dr.
Can I?
Clarissa's
everyone
point though.
should.
What that she was making was, you know what I mean. Where I do understand Dr. Clarissa where you're coming from,
Bruno,
and I
you have
do.
such a
I
sweet disposition that it makes it sound like you're not. You're so nice about it, but I heard you.
No, because I mean, but it's true though. I mean, I do understand that that there is a certain foundation and baseline that the people without experience can teach you about, right? But
Right.
now I think that the practicality that we're kind of getting at is when we're talking about like what is really going to be the most beneficial, right? As far as reaching that specific goal that you have, and I mean, with that, I would fundamentally disagree, right? That anything besides experience will help others excel and reach a specific level of success.
Yeah,
I think the
I don't
most
disagree with that.
I
Go
think
ahead.
the most beneficial is the combination of the two, experience plus education. Um, that is the highest level in my opinion, and then experience comes just under that, and then education comes just under that. Education alone comes just under experience, in my opinion. So
I know
when
a lot of highly educated baristas, but they can't perform at the job field in which they're trying to perform in.
I love this
Right. And
room.
so you have a lot of people who are educated but don't know how to execute. You have people who know how to execute but can't teach it to someone else. And
Those are
so
life skills, and there's a lot of people like that. I think that a lot of people here are missing the grand concept of what Tony's trying to appeal to. Is college a scam? He's not actually saying, is college itself a scam? Education plays a valuable role in society as a whole. So does experience. He's more so talking about the financial aspect of, hey, I'm taking out these student loans. The value that I get from that is a lot of debt, and the career that I'm getting on top of that isn't going to be able to pay for that debt. I think
Bingo.
that's really missed.
Yeah, it
It's
depends.
not
But I think that
missed.
Yeah.
there's
I
more
heard
to it
that.
too,
Yeah, if I
also
could
though.
add to that, I'd
But I
like,
think that there's more to that too, though, Dan. I think it's the
Oh,
fact
there's a
of
lot more to it. I'm just hitting wave
not
tops.
just the financial stance, right? But it's also the fact that, and I know Albert mentioned this earlier. You know, a lot of us have grown up in a society or in a world, right, that we were told that, you know what, man, without that piece of paper that says you are educated, you
You
cannot
won't be
succeed,
anything.
right? And a lot of times people measure success strictly off of whether or not you have that degree. You know what I mean? Like, man, I've, you know, like I've gotten my education because I was like, well, why not? It's free, right? But I've gone through classes, man, where I've never even cracked open a book and still been able to, you know, pass the class and succeed in the class, but knowing that that didn't contribute to my level of success as an entrepreneur or anything else. But a lot of times, you know, and I think that the narrative of what it is that we were getting at when we're talking about this college a scam, right, is not college itself, right? If you go there for the right reasons and you're trying to learn things and you become educated, you know, you as an educated person, it does help you grow and become better in life, right? Even as a person. But for us
It's a means
to
to an end.
cling on to the fact of going to college as a clutch, right? That's where I think things kind of get diluted.
I read
Can
Oh
I
yeah,
and,
say
and
something?
I agree. Like the way that I look at it
One second,
from,
guys. Let me reset the room. Woo! We
yep,
finally getting it. It's starting to heat up in here, man. Put a fire emoji in the chat if you guys are enjoying this conversation, man. All right, man. This is it's finally starting to get where I wanted to get. You know, I wanted to get a little bit of tapatio in there, man. I wanted to get now because now we're starting to have differences of opinion because you know where I'm going with this. Okay. Now, guys, do me a favor. If you guys like this format, we're going to be doing this on a regular basis, guys. Do me a favor. I need your help. For those of you who are in the space right now, click the link above my head, the SitRep YouTube channel. Okay. And then subscribe and like this video and give me a hello Anthony in there. Type hello Anthony. That's going to show YouTube that we're getting the algorithm. We're going to be doing these rooms. And listen, guys, if you guys are enjoying when we continue to talk like this, the reason why we're building up YouTube is because you guys need to get on YouTube because we do not know how long Clubhouse is going to be here. So we're trying to build that space up so you guys can get in there and still communicate on the social audio app. Okay. And you know, we're going to leverage our Facebook group, and we're also going to leverage our SitRep YouTube channel so you guys can continue conversations with us along with X. So we're trying all of these at the same time, and we're going to do a case study on which platform has the best communication style. And as right now, we have Facebook and X and YouTube. We're going to use to see which ones are going to be the best. So if you guys could drop in on the YouTube channel, click the link above my head and drop in there and just say hello, Anthony, on there. So I know that you guys could curate the hours so we can go viral. Okay. And then also, I know a young lady wanted to jump in, and then I know Sierra wanted to say something. Who was that said, can I say something? Was that you, Helen?
yeah, yeah, it is. And I'd like to add to what people are saying. It's not that education is a scam. It's just that the price needs to be mitigated. So
it's a business.
I went to college and became an entrepreneur in college. And I had to weigh out, and I didn't get any free college. College had to be paid for by my parents and me. And so it was expensive. And I got tired of that money, that my parents worked hard for going to it, and decided if I was going to continue this journey, then I needed to change the trajectory on what they were spending. So I joined the military. And I had already received, I went to a junior college, and I had already finished 2 years. I joined the military, which at the same time during the military, I continued to be an entrepreneur and continued to finish undergrad for not free, but it was close to it. So, but then after I finished all that, I decided, I wanted to maybe be a lawyer. I went to 1 year of law school. I looked at the cost. And I said, do I want to get into $200,000 worth of college loans, or do I want to continue being an entrepreneur, which I was already successful at? And I didn't find that it was
valuable for me to pay that, get into that debt. And I dropped out my first year of law school because of that. Do I regret that? No. Absolutely not. Do I know I would have, how long it would have took me to pay that off, or if I paid it off, or if I would get a job to substantiate that expense? No. So I said no. And so I just think the cost of our education is getting extremely high. It doesn't have to be that high. It needs to have a value. And if the value is, if the value is that you will be somewhat more educated and sound better and think better, to get into this debt, but you can't pay for it. No, I don't think that's a good risk.
And
There's a lot of
and,
divorces.
and
There are a lot of divorces in this room, so we need lawyers, Helen. So
oh my God.
You're not give me $200,000.
And Ella said something. Jeff said something big. Students just go to college to appease their parents. They party for 45 years and barely learn anything. They're just delaying adult life. They get easiest degrees they can do. They can get, and many can't find jobs, which is actually true. A lot of people are just going to school because that's what their parents tell them that they need to do to be successful. While their parents are working a 9 to 5 for 50 years to retire
Just for
but
the record,
with money. So
yeah.
American society has told us that we need to go to college to be successful. And in fact, I read an article just yesterday that said 72% of American jobs by 2050 will still require a college education. 72%. You have to remember, when you're talking about these things, you have to keep it in context. um, the backbone of America being of American industrialization was manufacturing, and that manufacturing has moved to other countries these days, right? Because they are now industrializing. That's why they're talking about going to India. You know what I mean? So the world is trying to, the world powers are trying to industrialize. Well, let me recap. American world powers are trying to industrialize American allies, and as a result, shipping, manufacturing, and textile jobs to to those countries who are our allies, who they're trying to build their economies so that they can be better allies. So when it comes down to it, America is not going to have jobs, a whole lot of jobs that don't require an education. And so, I just want to caution the conversation to, you know, to kind of take that into account, to acknowledge that, uh, American industrialization is waning. It's on the downslope. So jobs that require education are on the uptick because AI requires some level of education. It may not necessarily require a college degree, but it definitely does, coding and writing, all of those programs and stuff. It requires some level of smarts and some level of college and some level of training. So college itself, the 4-year traditional college, I agree, needs to be revamped and more affordable. But when it comes to success, and if wherever that success lies, it's still some form of education is still needed.
I do, for the
can
record,
I say
want to
something?
say something about
Go
Jeff's
ahead.
comment about 4 to 5 years of partying. He hugely underestimated my ability to stretch that out to 6 years. So, but in all seriousness, I actually taught part of a class where we looked at the college education strictly as an investment. And I agree with all my folks in the education system that there are other intangibles that I really value my college education. But if we look at it strictly as an investment, I use the analogy of, okay, let's build a building and then let's rent it out, right? So we're building the building of education, we're putting money in, right? We're building it, we're building it, we're building it. And depending on what type of job you're able to get with that education, that's the kind of income you're going to derive. And will that building support the debt? right? So and then so it opened people's eyes. So if you're going to go have six figures in debt and get a job that does not support that cash flow, or the education cost from that salary, you got to think twice about it. I've seen a lot of people go to culinary school and they end up working as a minimum wage job as a cook. I mean, how is that a good financial situation, right? And I know, I'm sure Tony touched upon, once you have a student loan, that is an anchor around your neck. You can't escape that with bankruptcy or anything. I think there's many very rare cases where you can do that. So we just wanted to give the transparency and an educated look at the financial part of making the educational decision, and will it pay off? Because it doesn't make sense to get too much debt and then get a job where you're, like for example, if you want to be an elementary school teacher, it's a very much needed uh, place in our society, but it's very low valued in our society, which is a shame. My wife is a teacher, and I think she's essential to, impacting all these children's lives she's touched over the last 20 years of her teaching. But the reality is that our lifestyle is mostly based on my ability to create more wealth because of what I do, not for what she does.
So
But it's
Ellis,
Yeah,
Yes, Alice.
should your wife let go of her career and become do something more lucrative?
of course not.
Because
Of
oh
course not.
why? But it's the numbers don't work. The numbers are the numbers.
Right.
And
But we're a partner.
so
But we're a partnership. So
uh,
that's her
are you
passion.
you sure about that?
Can I address
Listen,
the
I
listen,
think you
elephant in the
just
room?
I think you just stumbled onto something there, Dr. Clarissa. It's basically the whole point of this conversation is the numbers don't work for the education that people are getting. That's the issue is they're devoting time, they're devoting money to go to college and they're not getting what they're paying for. They're not able to pay off those college degrees and start life without an anchor. Whereas myself, I didn't go to college. I started off right out of high
I
school,
believe
went
it.
into the military,
I understand.
I
and
understand.
now, because of what I've done, it allowed my wife to go to nursing school. She actually just took her exam today. Like she's literally down in San Diego taking the exam. Um, and because of what I've done, I've allowed her to get a $200,000 education at Loma Linda for free. But that was something that we did and we planned together. A lot of these kids go to college, they start getting their degree, racking up debt, and they don't even know what the heck they want to do. So what's the point of them going to college if they haven't experienced life to figure out what they want to do before attaching an anchor to their ankles?
Well, it was actually. I mean, I've had conversations with Ellis, and I knew that his wife was was a teacher, and what I was getting at, and I know she's very passionate about what she does. That's why I said that. But what I was getting at, and I've been saying it all day, is kind of like you begin with a vision, and the vision is not always the metric for success is not always money and earning
Most
and should it be
18-year-olds don't
what
have a
but
vision yet,
Dan, I'd
though.
like to land. And it's not as easy in a financial room like this and centered in a room like this to say something like what I'm about to say, which is many educators who care for other people's children for 20 years see it as ministry. You talk about people like Ellis's wife and her colleagues when there's not enough funding to set up these rooms for these kids, they will use their personal funds to set up bulletin boards. And it's just their practice because they're not trying to settle a balance sheet because they don't see their lives that way. And I'm not saying that's right. And you we don't have to dispute that. But what I'm saying is when your metric is
No dispute, agree.
when
Can I say
when
something? Can I
Yes, you
say
can say something,
something?
Sierra. Jump in. Jump in.
So I think the elephant in the room we are overlooking that, and that's where you guys kind of miss me in this whole conversation. The average individual. So tell me, like the
Yeah,
average individual is not Bill Gates. The average individual is not Jeff Bezos. They're not these people that are dropping out of school that have a vision that already seen. Oh, I can be successful, surpass, just getting a college education. That's the average person. So when we have these conversations, I'm like, this is not reality. The reality of it is the average person, if they don't have to go to college, they'll get a job, they'll come home, play video games. They have no vision, none of that. And it's not, and it's sad. It's really sad. But most people will be like, okay, you know what? I should have just went to college, or I might as well go to college at least to try to get myself together, get some type of discipline versus just going to a job, coming home, playing video games. When you got all these chances and opportunity to make something of yourself, even if it's going to college, because again, the average person is not Bill Gates. They're just not. They're not these super overly successful people. Like and that's the numbers. Let's get the numbers on that. Like that's what I want to know. The average person. What's the numbers on the average person that doesn't go to college?
And let me say this. Let me say this real quick because I see Dr. Ashley.
If You're, co- you com-
Hi, Dr.
yeah, because
Ashley.
you're comparing, people with educations to billionaires and millionaires that dropped out of school. You're not comparing them to the
Most
average
go ahead.
person.
He-
Hey y'all. Hi.
Hey, hey. So here's what I want to say, guys. Listen, this is the fundamental thing, right? It shouldn't take 20 years for you to have a plan. Okay? That is the whole message to tie this thing all together, guys. It shouldn't take you 20 years to plan. You have the baby at 19 years. I mean, you have the baby is 1 year old. You're 1 year old. You're supposed to start that plan then. Okay? You have 19 years to plan to avoid student loan debt. And me, I do not, college does not equate to you're not going working for someone is they should be teaching these things: entrepreneurship, financial management. And the reason why they don't teach entrepreneurship and financial management and trade in schools is because they want you to go and work for IBM. So IBM can continue to hire people like you and continue to elevate the company. Okay. So, do I think the college system is a scam? 110%. And it's just a person with a college degree that's an entrepreneur. LeBron James works for the NBA. The NBA makes billions of dollars to have him on stage, right? Playing the game. But his entrepreneurial efforts is what made him a multimillionaire. You working in and this is a perfect example. You working in an organization. The IRS favors people who own real estate and businesses. It does not favor the employee. If that was the case, okay, if you're an employee, you can do a 401k and get a pension plan. Right? Go ahead and then invest in this 401k for the rest of your life, and you work for until you're 60 years old. Now you get what's the average age for retirement? What's the pension age? Anybody can tell me? What is the pension age?
Depends where you are.
59 and a half.
55.
Okay, 59 and a half. So 60 years old, you work for the education school system. You've been working for 40 years in the education school system to get $30,000 of pension, $60,000, $50,000, $40,000. A good pension for an educator for 40 years is around $45,000 to $45,000. And if that's all you
Some entrepreneurs aren't even getting that for
hold
themselves.
hold on, sister. If you think if that $50,000 that you get annually or $45,000, I challenge any educator in here. What is the average pension of an educator? You get the 401k. You've been investing in the 401k. You can only put $22,500 in there annually.
My mother's pension she was an educator, and her pension is number one, lifetime, and number two, it's equivalent to 100% of her salary once she retired.
How long did she work?
27 years.
So 30 years. When did she get
Yeah.
to? Now, follow me with this, Bella. Okay. Is your mother still with us? I want to be
Yes.
okay. All right. So what's her name?
Ruby.
So Ruby worked for 27 years. In order to be an educator, she went to school for how long?
She went to school. She got her sixth year. So let's see, 4, 6, 8 years.
She went to school for 8 years. So 19. Okay, so 13 years of college. I mean, for K through 12, right? Now that's 13 plus 8 years.
Yeah.
So 21 years to get into a career, and then she had to work another 30 years to get a pension.
Well, she did some of that. It wasn't it was concurrent. So she did the master's and 6 year certificate concurrent with working during that 27 years. But yeah, in order to earn the high three salary she wanted to earn on the way out, she needed to get either a 6 year or a doctorate degree in order to have a decent livable wage pension. Yes.
And that's the point that we're trying to make. And all of that costs money for her to do that. So 8 years of
Actually, it was free. So, I mean, there's six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. There's always going to be an argument for and against. And generally, I do agree with what you're saying. However, what I'm saying is that we should temper it with, for some people, and critical thinking, and get a free education if you can. Encourage your kids to get scholarships. Those kinds of phrases, that phraseology is what I'm saying we should temper it with, because
Yes.
college in and of itself is not a scam per se. It depends on what you want it for, why you desire it, what you're going to do with it, etc. My cousin just is finishing up her fellowship, and she has a goo gob of student loans. Her fiance was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to get into these student loans, but it's, or marry into the student loans. But you know we have to have doctors in our society. So you know an educated society is a moving forward society, is a society that will take us places, is a society that will stay on top, however you want to look at
Let
it.
to
Yeah.
this. I'm going to say this real quick. Okay. Look, I'm going to debate with numbers. What did I tell y'all the average pension was? 40 to what? $50,000. Alabama, 39 years. Your median pension is $22,512. Alaska, $34,000. Arizona, $20,000. Arkansas, $17,000. California, $51,000. You got to be in the field for 57 years. 69 years is when you start drawing the pension. At 57 years, you start drawing the pension. Colorado, 36 years. It says who qualified for the pension? 36. Connecticut, 55. Delaware, 29. And then all of these numbers are 18. 53 is the highest pension that I see on here on average, and that's the District of Columbia. So when I'm telling you guys $50,000 of a pension for working 39 years is not enough money to sustain. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Now, I'm looking at
We get
numbers
that.
right here. This is the US Census. This is .gov website. Look up teachers pensions and then put .gov behind it, and it will tell you what the average pensions are.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And you keep having these rooms, y'all gonna all be teaching your own kids.
Man, yeah.
Because you're right, you're absolutely right. We should be supplementing or at least pairing um multiple income streams, or being taught as teachers and taught you should be taught as parents to structure this differently, Tony. No one's disagreeing with that point, but what I'm saying is you can't, I believe that what you're saying about the system is correct. The system is you haven't even touched on the way that students are informed in the financial aid office. I think it's a total setup. And even in the first generation programs like Upward Bound, which is meant to help in first generation college students, the information is all a setup for what you're saying. Systemically, you're right, Tony. But what I am saying also is it's a different metric for the actors, the participants in what you're talking about. Many of the teachers, I'm listening to what I think was Bella saying. Half of what her mom would have done many of those years for free because of what she wanted to do and pour into those kids. I mean, that you don't show up because you think you're going to increase your cash. You don't show up for cash flow. You don't show up with your calculator. It's just you're talking to a different population of people, Tony. That's all she's saying. She's saying you're oversimplifying it. It's gotta be roomier than a calculator. I know this is a math nerd room, and that's why I'm trying to be, contained.
Hmm.
But but it's true. It's true. And I mean, and you're talking about apples and oranges in a sense. And Dan, let me land. And so my point is it needs to be a little bit more comprehensive and sensitive to the population that you keep naming teachers, but you're talking like they're financiers or they're also a part of the real estate investing community. I'm over here, and the only reason I know you and Bruno and Sierra is because I'm proselytized. You've convinced me. I'm on board, but I love my job. If I ever had to choose, I would always choose my students.
I was only
I'm
saying Alex to being called a math nerd.
And that's very romantic. I'm glad that you would choose your students. And but does the edu that does
did you just say romantic?
yes, yeah, it's nice. It's very
Oh my
sweet. It's a very Cinderella story to choose your students. But again, Iron
Oh
asked the
my
question:
God.
what is the average? Okay, so Iron, let me give you some statistical facts. Okay,
No, but I want to say I'm choosing my students, but I'm choosing other people's children. So it's not just choosing my students. These are representative of the children of the people that are on this stage. So I'm just saying, like, when you talk about this population, they're making it possible for everybody to be on this stage and have this conversation because many of the kids, if you have some, they're with somebody else right now. These underpaid people that you're talking about.
okay, so why does okay? So let me ask this question. Okay, so and Ellis made it clear. All right, so let me answer that question for you, Iron. Okay, what is the average? Okay, so you can. So this is the reason why, and I'm gonna put this out here. It's great to educators are definitely. We just use that as an example because I know the educators are here. But the reason why kids are going to school right now is so you can go to work. Let's think about that because I can do homeschooling and still get the same effects that I could at going to school. And people say, what about socializing? Well, they can socialize after they get done with school. When kids get out of school, I can still put them in sports and do everything else and still spend time.
Could you repeat what you said? Repeat what you
Let
just
me
said.
finish. Let me finish. Okay. So, this is the reason why I say that entrepreneurship and trades. Listen, the only thing that's going to print money for you is two things. Are you ready? Number one is a business, being an entrepreneur, and a piece of real estate. Now, somebody asked me, what is the average work? Guess what? Iron. When you die, can your education degree still make money for you? Yes or no? Can your education degree, can you still work? People, wake up. You have to activate yourself in order to get paid. You are not going to make money working for someone. You're not going to become a millionaire. You have to invest in your money into alternative things. Now, here's the point that I want to make, and I'm going to bring home for you guys. Here's a perfect example. Employee and a 401k. You guys aren't maximizing your 401k. And that's a person working, a W-2 employee. But a 1099 person that has a business can invest in a SEP IRA. The max is $66,000. What do you want to save $66,000 or you want to save $22,000? Again, another one, a defined benefit plan, $265,000 tax deferred. You can't do that working for somebody. So yes, you get a job in a W-2, you're a W-2 employee, you make $180,000. Uncle Sam is going to take 38% of it away. It's going back to the people that gave you the job.
Where do you learn? Where do you
But
learn
Anthony,
to
the
be an
money has
I,
to
entrepreneur?
come
man,
from
let me go on mute, man. I
somewhere
see
to
Albert.
invest.
I see Albert's off mute, man. Then I'm gonna pass it to Sierra. Then we gonna shut down the room, y'all. Who else wants to jump in real quick? What was that, Sierra?
What I was saying is the money has to come from somewhere to invest. The average entrepreneur that never went to school is not making 3, 4 million a year in their first year. They're not even making enough to qualify for a loan. You know this. So yes, you need to get a job and do your little entrepreneurship thing so that you can invest. But selling, I can't sit here and listen to people, listen to this dream of, oh, you just have to invest. How you gonna make the money to invest? Like, not just from entrepreneurship itself. You have to do multiple things. You do. Uh,
See, that's God. The God got her T-Mobile sidekick, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
You're so wrong for that.
God got that T-Mobile sidekick.
Somebody disagrees.
That's the first investment right there.
What you need to be screaming about, Sierra, is in investing in a better phone carrier, Jack.
Stop messing around, Sarah. Go get a damn Android, woman.
you gotta do something.
She's still
She's still going at it. Go get
Leave
an
my
Android, Sarah.
Sierra alone. And when did Android become a better?
It's not. This is a
Excuse me. It has always been better. All this education, and we still don't know that.
Bruno,
You see,
Bruno,
college
Yes,
is
you
a
and
much
scam.
much
green
better.
bubbles.
man. This is my
I know.
last time in this room.
False.
Says somebody messing up the
Different
group
doesn't
chat
mean
room.
better.
Look, Bruno been messing up the group chats. I can't even send a group picture or video because Bruno's the only one in the office with an Android.
The only one with the
No, he's not. You got me, guys. Come on now.
You already could tell that Dan is
with,
math
he's the only one
genius.
in my group chat.
Oh man. Well, look, guys, let me do a quick room reset. You guys are in the winning real estate, guys. If you enjoyed this conversation, put a fire emoji in the chat. Listen, guys, I really appreciate you guys supporting us today. This has been a fruitful conversation. Listen, let me tell you what the recap was. We talked about the UTMA. We gave you that game, the 529 education account to avoid student loans. We also talked about the Coverdale. We talked about the custodial Roth. Next time, we'll talk about that we did not cover. We'll talk about setting up single member LLCs on Thursday. Listen, come rock out with us on Thursday because we're going to be rocking and kicking it. Today was a informational room. Okay, we came to the conclusion that student loan college is a scam. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for
We did not come to that conclusion. We did not. Stop
what are
it.
we talking?
We
At
did not.
all.
No, we did not come to that
Can you turn your
conclusion.
mic down? I know you in the
Absolutely
country,
not.
man. Can you take your lips off the
No,
mic? Uh,
whatever. We did not come to that
don't Ashley sound
conclusion.
like she got her lips on
However,
the bottom of the microphone when she talking on her
if
phone. The phone is
if
horizontal.
used
Look, you can take your
if
microphone
used
away from your lips.
incorrectly, it will feel scammy. You'll have some scammy vibes as a result, but college in itself is not a scam.
It's an honor.
Okay.
It's an honor.
All right, I got Sailor. Sailor Ripley. What do you think? Do you think college is a scam? I saw you came on Twitter Spaces. Do you have any value to add to the conversation?
Yes, I think it is because you can practically learn everything you need to online. The internet is your best tool.
Man, come on, man. Somebody let this woman come in here on a
Uh,
day-to-day basis.
let's talk about
So you know
let's talk about the free route to college though. Let's talk about that versus no college. How about that? The free route.
okay, all right, but most people can't get the
That's just
I
education.
do believe that oftentimes, and this is coming from someone who has a terminal degree and who sits on a university board of trustees, that oftentimes our people aren't prepared for college. And so they spend a lot of money or they take out a lot of student loans to fund the exploration phase in college. And I believe that college is a very expensive place to find yourself. And so I encourage people to have their children explore and be exposed prior to. But if you go to college with a plan, with a roadmap, with a strategy, it can be beneficial. And if you plan to leverage the education gained from college, the network that you build, the skill set, the tools, the resources, the brain trust that's there, all of those things. But oftentimes the conversation isn't how to prepare your children and position them for more success after they leave college. That's where the real conversation needs to take place.
Says an
There you go.
says an entrepreneur, by the way. Says an entrepreneur, by the way.
Says an edupreneur.
No, but
I'm
the thing
actually an
is,
edupreneur. I'm an edupreneur. I am both.
Okay, let me Dr. Ashley, I'm gonna ask you one simple question, and Sailor, I'm gonna come.
I'm not doing this with you.
Listen,
You were closing the room.
Listen. I got one question. How much did it cost for you to go to get your doctor's degree, Dr. Ashley? And how much money did you invest?
I did invest a lot of money. I invested a lot of money in my PhD.
Don't tell them, Sora.
From the University of South Carolina. However, because of the strategy that I mentioned a minute ago, most of my undergraduate was free, all of my master's was free, and half of my PhD was free.
Okay, now
See the free route to college.
It's in South Carolina, man. They got one professor teaching all the classes, and you can go to school with your shoes off.
We're not doing this with you, Tony. Go ahead and close the room.
Oh my God.
Hey, y'all. It's a pleasure to be back. I missed you guys.
Welcome back, Dr. Ashley.
Thank you.
So, Sailor, thank you for pulling up on Twitter Spaces, guys. Again, do me a favor. If you guys enjoyed this conversation, can y'all click the link above my head on the SITREP YouTube channel and just put win? Say hi to me. You guys can see me live and in color. I am on Twitter. I can see you guys. Can y'all click that, please? Click the link above my head and just say hello. Drop in, give a comment. That's going to help curate the algorithm so we can continue to grow this space. Remember, Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be talking about another hot topic. We're going to be talking about how you guys can invest with a veteran, okay, with no money down and buy a multi-unit. And we're also going to be talking about the places where to set up, how to structure your limited liability company as a kid, so your kid can have credit before they go to school, and capital and collateral. Okay, phenomenal room. Thank you guys for the input. We really love you guys. Happy holidays. Any closing remarks from any of the moderators or anybody that's on stage?
This is a great round.
I think I think you should tell the veterans in the room that if they have not used their GI Bill, their children can use the GI Bill. How about that? The free route to college.
Yes, or their spouse.
Yep, that is true. And I see why when we get ready to shut down the Twitter Spaces room. Sailor, you had a closing remark, or did you want to add value to the conversation? Angela, I saw you come on stage as well. I invited you guys as speakers. Did you guys want to say something or any closing remarks?
I just want to say thank you for including me, and yeah, I guess I'll be back when you guys go casting again.
Absolutely. So make sure you give me a follow on Twitter Spaces. Also, again, we have the SITREP YouTube channel at the top. We do not know when we're going to be doing Clubhouse. We don't know how long Clubhouse is going to be around. For those of you who don't know, we're simulcasting on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Facebook, and YouTube. Okay, so and X. So we're doing this at the same time. So if you hear voices coming through my microphone, that's how we're doing it. We really appreciate you guys. We really appreciate you guys coming up, and we will see you guys Thursday. Remember, Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will be coming live to a theater near you. All right. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you guys soon. This is fun, man.
Thank you.
It was much fun.
Sounds good.